This season is turning out to be really exciting. The summer break is here and we've had 7 different race winners, some amazing races with lots of drama. And George Russell became the first person other than Max Verstappen to win more than one race when he won the Belgian Grand Prix. There were some big surprises at the Spa racetrack this weekend that we'll talk about, but what happened off the racetrack at the Belgian Grand Prix could change everything. Some drivers who were already in trouble might not come back for the second half of the season after doing really badly. They've been given lots of chances to save their Formula One jobs, but it's pretty clear now that for some drivers, it's probably all over. Want to know why this race was bad news for Sergio Perez? He'll be lucky to race at the next track after how he did at Spa. But what went wrong for him this weekend? And stay tuned, because one team boss should be careful what he asks for. Sergio Perez was told very clearly before the weekend what he needed to do. His team made it clear that his job was to help Red Bull in any way he could, especially to win the team championship. This is what team boss Marco said Checo needed to do earlier in the weekend. Sergio knows that to win the team championship we need both our cars to finish ahead of McLaren if we can, and that hasn't happened in the last few races. Our goal is to win both the driver championship and the team championship, and we'll talk about the best way to do that on Monday. Before finishing the interview, he praised the Mexican drivers qualifying, something Checo has struggled with all season, which has been blamed as the main reason he's been slow in races, saying, "But it's great to see Sergio, who has really gotten better. He'll start on the front row because of penalties to other drivers, and now things are looking much better again." Okay. So Sergio has a meeting about his future with the team on Monday, after the race at Spa, which will look at how he's done in the first 8 races. He's starting on the front row, and he has a car that can perform well at Spa. So how did Sergio do? Oh yeah, he finished behind his teammate who started in 11th place. He finished way behind both McLaren cars and couldn't even stay in the fight with the other fast cars, falling back to lonely 8th place. Having started on the front row in a car that could clearly keep up with the Ferrari and McLaren cars at least, this is about as bad as you could do in a clean race. He didn't crash, he didn't get hit by someone else, he didn't get a penalty. He just wasn't fast enough, even with a good starting position, and he failed to do what his team asked him to do. This video will be out by the time the meeting happens, and we can't see how Red Bull can justify keeping Checo in the car if they really want to win the team championship. It's either let him go or give up on winning the team championship. As harsh as this sounds, he's had many races to get better, and even when everything was perfect for him, he didn't take advantage. I think Red Bull gave up on Checo on lap 22 when they called him into the pits early, giving up on his current plan and getting him out of the way of not only his teammate Verstappen coming up behind, but also Lando Norris, who was chasing. From 2nd place to 8th place, coming out of the pits next to Oscar Piastri, who was charging up from behind after his first pit stop. So what exactly went wrong? Well, if you ask Perez, it's all because of bad decisions made by his team. It was a very disappointing race. It started well, I have to say. I was just struggling a lot on the straight parts of the track. I don't know what was happening, but I had to save battery power early on in the first couple of laps. We were obviously hurt by having just 2 sets of medium tires. So again, I think the strategy wasn't perfect. It's something we'll work on together as a team. However, he wasn't the only Red Bull driver with 2 medium tires. His teammate started from the back of the grid, and before the race was half over, he was right behind Checo and in danger of being slowed down by him. After every bad performance, every poor qualifying, every race that gets worse or stays the same, there has been one thing Checo always blames, and that's the car. While clearly Max is more comfortable and the car suits him better, the car isn't impossible to drive. While the wing setup was clearly better for downforce and not focused on straight line speed, there's no way that Perez should have fallen back the way he did. However, according to him, he shouldn't be questioned by the team. and his future hasn't been affected by losing to all 7 drivers in the fight at the front of the field. And by a lot too, as he said. It doesn't change anything. However, his next statement sounded a lot like he was getting desperate. I think we have too much going on in the team. A lot of things that we have to focus on, and we can't waste any energy with all this guessing about what will happen. So this is the last time I will talk about the future. Just to make it clear for everyone, I will not be talking anymore. I will not answer any more questions about the future. While we're sure that being asked about your future in the sport over and over again is annoying, the only person who can stop those questions is Sergio Perez by going faster. Excuses have been made for him over and over again, whether it's bad qualifying or mental problems holding him back. Failing to take advantage even when everything went right, and failing to beat their rivals from a good position to help the team championship should be the final straw for the Mexican driver's time at Red Bull. Whether it is or not, we should find out Monday. Meanwhile, a driver who felt pretty shocked this weekend was Lewis Hamilton. Mercedes has been doing really well in the past few races, with their drivers now having 3 wins between them and plenty of podium finishes. However, until the final laps of the race, it seemed like Hamilton would go into the summer break with most of those wins. When talking about the race, Hamilton was upset about the strategy decisions to bring him into the pits, even though his tires felt fine. However, he also said how strange the race situation was, as he remembered a feeling he hasn't had for years. George did a great job today. It was a fantastic effort to do a one-stop race. It was pretty smooth sailing for me, to be honest. I was totally in control. I had plenty of speed and my tires were good, and it just didn't end up as planned. You could have heard what I said to the team most of the time. I think the tires were pretty good. I still had plenty left in my tires, and I was going faster. I didn't want to stop. I just said the tires were fine, and I'm happy. Team boss Toto Wolff gave his reasons for Hamilton losing out on strategy, saying that Russell's speed was a surprise to them, with Hamilton's real danger seeming to be from cars behind him and not from his teammate down the road with old tires. I'd like to have 2 winners today, but we had to cover Leclerc and Norris because we would have been passed by them if they pitted first. So that was our decision. George had nothing to lose. We were in 5th place. The one-stop and the two-stop strategies were both showing 5th place, so we just kept him out. He was very good. Lewis was very good. The strategy worked for George and not for Lewis. I'd like to have 2 winners today. We didn't think it was possible, he added. But at a certain point, we said, let's stay out because we would have finished 5th anyway, in both scenarios. He made it work. Maybe Toto should be careful about what he wishes for, though, because in a shocking twist, Toto got his wish after all. Because Mercedes did indeed have 2 winners at Spa. The official winner, Lewis Hamilton, and the winner for 1 hour after the race, George Russell, whose car was kicked out of the results after being found to be too light after the race. The discovery came after the car was weighed before and after a required fuel sample was taken from the car, which then caused the racing officials to send the car to the judges for more checking. Everything possible was done to try to prove the car was legal, with the team and the officials going as far as taking off the tires and weighing them separately. Something which reporter Ted Kravitz suggested could make all the difference, since the Spa racetrack doesn't allow for the normal last-lap pickup of rubber and debris that other tracks do. However, nothing could prevent the black and white rules from kicking out the too light Mercedes. Clearly, Hamilton would have mixed feelings about this. However, his sadness after the race about how the strategy went wrong doesn't matter now. The big winners from this are clearly the new podium finishers, Piastri and Leclerc, plus Verstappen, who gets a bigger lead at the top, something which will only make Lando Norris more upset. It also moved Daniel Ricciardo into the points after a solid performance, something which may well make all the difference in Monday's conversation. What must George Russell be thinking then? who won the hearts of F1 fans with an incredible display of speed, tire management, and mental toughness, but ultimately saw his third Formula One win taken away by just over a kilogram of missing weight. Well, those are the rules. Despite George Russell's individual brilliance seeming to make the difference, not only keeping a steady pace, but also making his Mercedes as wide as possible for the final 5 laps, it is ultimately Lewis Hamilton who takes home the winner's trophy from an exciting Belgian Grand Prix.